with Dave Harris.
Retro Rewind. One-on-one.
Retro Rewind.
This is your first CD without the Maurice Starr.
Second one, we did Face the Music.
Oh, that's right. Right. But this is a more of a defined, I think, effort from you guys. And Donnie basically co-wrote all the songs on this CD, right? So he had some kind of creative input.
Yeah.
And surprised that you didn't, because you're a great writer yourself.
Thank you. Well, I think creatively, I had done, when I write music, it's really I really gotta be turned on. You know what I mean? When I have to feel the need to write, and I've done that, and I will do that again, and I still do it, but I think you have to have a certain fire going on. You have to have a flame inside of you. So that flame wasn't burning inside of me during this making of the album. What was important to me was the intention and where we were coming from, you know what I mean, and what we were saying, and I was happy with that. So the cool thing about being in the group is you don't have to do everything, and I thought it was great to see Donnie, who hadn't written music in a long time. He was busy, acting and making movies and TV and whatnot, that I could tell he was open, he was excited. You really gotta open up and be vulnerable when you're writing music. You know what I mean? When you're in the studio, and you don't want to push it, you just gotta let it flow. And I didn't want to push it, because I know as a creative artist and as a writer and a producer of music that you don't want to push it, because it never feels authentic. So I didn't want to do wrong by this project by pushing it. If I had something to say, I would say it. And like I said, as long as I agreed with where that lyric was coming from, or the intent and the truthfulness of that record, then I was cool with it. And I'll write music again, but I thought we were all very much involved in this record, and so I feel a part of that. I think some people knowing me as a writer were like, they were surprised, and I didn't want to disappoint my hardcore fans, but at the same time, believe me, I was right there, and I'm as proud of this album as any of mine. And the good thing is that I thought, as a performer, where I was pushing and getting the elbows and was singing, you know what I mean, and that was important to me as a performer, and that was that was actually there were times where you had to work that out. There were times when me and Jordan are sitting there, and the cool thing is that for the most part, me, Jordan, and Donnie, we all have different sounds, you know what I mean? We sound pretty distinctively different, and so in some ways there's no real competition, but at the same time, there were a couple of times where you were like, well, I want to sing that line, you know what I mean? But then you got Jordan there, you know what I mean, who wants to sing that line too, maybe, and then Donnie's got such a strong voice that it might be right for him. So there were times where we'd have to work it out, you know what I mean? You might be disappointed. But in the end, I think we did work it out, and that's something to be proud of too. That you can work stuff out with other guys in the group, and because you want what's best for the group, but at the same time, you want to get your groove on too. So, but that's what I'm happy about, and maybe that's where my energies went, and I'm satisfied with that.
Well, and that's a great answer. In fact, I was going to ask you how you guys maybe worked out some of that stuff. I think "Summertime's" a prime example, or a good example of the three of you trading vocals.
Yeah, I think it's it's a sensibility. I mean, Jordan's a great singer, you know what I mean, and he's a very, technically he can just go right in there and work it out, and it's just great to have talented people around that you can learn from and feel. But at the end of the day, it's also about a message, you know what I mean? And so sometimes, you know, he would sing a line and just get it, no matter how great it's, you know, it sounded, good or bad. He got the line, you know what I mean, and the intention of that line, and so I think with Summertime, Donnie always talks about how I understood the song and I got the song, and so when I kicked off Summertime, I got the excitement of remembering the past and what could happen in the future and all that good stuff, and that kind of kicked it off, and then, you know, after that, you know, Donnie comes in and does his thing, and Jordan takes over after that. So it worked out. It was a good way to kick the whole thing off, I think.
Yeah, I think you definitely set the tone on that song. Let me ask you first: did you guys record this album first and then get the deal, or did you have a deal on the table and then go?
No, we didn't. We didn't have any deals. We didn't have any contracts. We didn't have any tour dates settled. We just took it one song at a time, and it really. You know, really paid off. In this day and age, there's a lot of great artists and talented people that don't move a muscle until there's money on the line. You know what I mean? And that's their prerogative. But I think, you know, you can waste a lot of life and a lot of time doing that, you know, if you're going to wait for someone to write you a check. And I think, you know, we said, let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's put our own expectations on it and not anybody else's. And ironically, that means there's not a lot of expectations, so you can just go in and make music and do, you know, do what you love. And we took it one song at a time. And if it wasn't fun, or if it wasn't good, or if it wasn't, you know, worth our time, then we would have said, you know what, maybe not. You know what I mean? But because we went about it the right way, we did it for the right reasons, and then built a foundation with the music. And then we were able to say, you know, go into the door instead of going, what do you think we should do? We go into the door and say, we really believe in this. What do you think? And then, you know, you find the right partner that way. And, you know, so it was cool, man. It was, I think it was the right thing to do. And I think we the first song that we did, I mean, the first song that we were definitely going to do was Click, Click, Click. And we always say that is the song that kind of started it all off, and it is. But the actual first song we did was a song called Water into Wine. And it was another song that was written by the same guys. And
it's not on the CD.
It's not on the CD.
Okay.
And maybe it'll never come out. But it's an old school ballad. And me and Jordan sang it, and that was the first song we sang. We went into the studio, we had Click, and we had this song. We said, well, which one do you want to, you know, sing? And I think maybe just instinctively, subconsciously, we went with the more old school thing as opposed to the more, you know, it had a sort of a, you know, Click is just oozes with vibe, you know what I mean? So maybe we went with this other one to just kind of, you know, hit the ground running a little bit. And it was a great song, and I think it didn't surprise us, but Jordan and I really had fun doing it. And you know, Donnie came in and he heard it and he was like, wow, you know, he was pleasantly surprised. And who knows if that song didn't sound good, you know what I mean? A couple of people involved, you know, were like, "Wow, cool," you know, and it you know, it gave me chills, you know what I'm saying? Just getting back in there and doing it, and so, you know, I think, you know, again, it all started with us, you know.
Well, you should save that one, because he just said an old school ballad with Joey and Jordan singing, and it's not on your iPod.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Save that one.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I don't know. Maybe it won't come out. Maybe we can just sing it live instead of ever being on.
It's the live album that they never put out.
Retro Rewind.
With Dave Harris. Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. One on one.
Retro Rewind.